What's happening, everybody? It's your man Damednydc, 2 mics up. Man, this is a great Monday. And when I say great, man, sometimes you just happen to have things fall in place and fall in line. And you have a guest that can take time out of their schedule to sit here and join me on the other mic. And today's guest is not just a regular guest. I think, phenomenal, amazingly talented celebrity guest. I'm just going to stop talking. I'm going to bring this amazing guest with her amazing smile. You can feel the energy when I bring her to the screen. It's amazing to have talent. But today's guest, the talented Morgan Alexandria. We've seen Morgan, in films such as Sabotage, Forever My Girl. I believe it was Closet Space was another one. We've seen you most recently, I want to say, on BET's and BET Plus's the sacrifice.
Right?
You play Ruby. Look, I'm all in your business. Look, I'm gonna stop talking. Morgan, please take a moment and introduce yourself to us, and give us a little bit about who you are, your background, and how you began your journey in acting.
Okay, well, hey everybody. I am Morgan Alexandria, and I think as like a little kid, I was always very like really expressive, and I talked too much in class. And one of my counselors, she said, "Okay, well, how can I put this all up in a bottle, and what can I give her to like basically have this outlet?" And so I did the Black History program. She introduced me to Maya Angelou and her amazing rights. And so I performed Still I Rise. And I remember I brought it home at like 7 years old. And my mom was like, "You can't learn all of this." And I'm like, "Well, she's telling me that I can." And so she calls her and she's like, "No, I don't think she can learn all of this." And she said, "No, she can." And so I did, and I learned it all. And my mom noticed that I could like pick it up really quickly. And I just felt like alive there, probably the attention and all of that. And then I just kind of kept going, middle school, plays, high school, college, that whole thing. So, and then I went off and got into the industry, and it's worked out for me. It's been, a long, hard, stretch, but it's worked out for me though.
And that's the part I think, I wanted to, take a moment, if you could touch in, because that's the part a lot of times we don't really understand. Everybody's journey is different.
Mm-hmm.
But for you, what were some of the difficulties? I think it's important when someone, a young man or woman who may watch this and see you, because we want to inspire them to be what, if acting is what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But what are some of the challenges or pitfalls that maybe you've experienced that you're okay at talking about and sharing with us today?
I think it's just honestly the journey. I'm from Atlanta, so I started everything here, and at the time it was like, you got to go out to LA, you got to go out to LA. I went to New York first, and I was like, I love New York, but New York ain't for me. So like, I can just pop in 5 seconds, but hard out. And so anyway, I went there, the journey literally to get there, because I drove from Georgia to California.
That's road trip. Oh, whoa.
Can't make it up.
Okay.
And that was just, that in itself was crazy. And then when I got there, it was all these journeys that and all these obstacles that I had to get through. You got to find a job, you got to make money. You still, at the time we were auditioning in the room, you have to learn all the lines and then show up and audition in the room and still go to the job and pay the rent. And so it was that hustle and bustle. And there's so many rejections. There are so many rejections that it shouldn't even be right. I'm like, this should not be accepted. But, as an artist, we get rejected so much that it could cause you to lose sight of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
How you feel
And
about
about
yourself, your
yourself.
self-esteem and all of
Yeah.
that. And you could really take
Mm.
some
Well,
slopes there.
it sounds like though you had good support though. I mean, because I think that's important too. Like if people understand the support level that you have to help you, maintain yourself, if you will, to get through the ups and downs.
Yes. Support is like a heavy thing, but I do believe that if you have a faith belief, and you have a higher being that you believe in, whether you have a person to help you or not, you'll be able to make it, and you'll get through it, and you'll get to the other side of where you want to be. But yes, having support, financial support, all of those things are like a big help. But at the end of the day, we reside in an industry that is like, you know, who knows you and who do you know?
No. Mm.
And so just because your parents have money, and just because people can, support you, and you got a shoulder to cry on, it doesn't change the fact that they can't go get you the job. And
Mm.
that's just, you got to be able to just hold on, till you can
That's
get the job.
that's real talk right there. So Morgan, with that being said, I just wanted to jump in and ask too, like through your journey and through the roles that you've had so far, and
Hmm.
I always like to ask, which one to you stands out the most, so far in your career.
Let's see. You know what? I would honestly say, I would say Ruby, but not necessarily for her character makeup and her story and all of that, but I would say because playing her taught me so much set wise.
Mm.
She was the first character for me that I was able to do several episodes on a television show, and just there is no class like being on set a
Mm.
lot. And
Okay.
that's just what it is. And so it was almost like a school for me in many senses. And everybody that I got to work with, Paula Patton is amazing. She
Yeah.
plays my cousin on the show.
Yeah.
So it's just all these great jewels that I got to soak up were so
Mm.
amazing. So I would say that. And then as far as like the one that I get to grit my teeth in the most, I would say Line Sisters.
That was a good
So
one.
I played a wild, crazy character on Line Sisters, and it was the most fun that I've ever had, just because it's outside of who I am, but still within me, I'm sure somewhere. And I was able to just come up with all these, ideas of how I wanted her physicality to be, how I wanted her to think. Um, there was many things that touch home to me in this role, so
Really?
I was able to really go there. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, look, because I mean, I've seen the film. I mean, I've seen you in other things,
Mm-hmm.
but look, I'm gonna be honest. My wife is sitting home watching TV. Babe, come watch this movie with me.
Yes.
I'm saying, I'm like, okay, excuse me, sister, chick flick. I'm like, babe, look, I could be doing something else on my Saturday because that was my. Nah, come on, sit down here. Paula Patton, I'm like, I'm watching. I'm like, wait a minute. I know that this sister right here, she bad, man. And the role itself, it definitely was different.
Mm-hmm.
But when you say there was certain parts that resonate with you, I'm just curious. Like what resonated with you and allowed you to act it out on screen.
Um, let's see. I will say this because I don't think I'm going to go that deep into it, but I'll say this. I had close experiences, I would say,
Hmm.
going to an HBCU, and I'll just leave it there.
Okay.
And so that brought a lot of
Got
memories
you.
back, a lot of things that I was able to
Got
connect
you.
with. Yeah.
Got you. And I understand. I haven't. I didn't graduate from HBCU, but I
Mhm.
attended, and I understand, and I think I get where you're going.
You got real
I
good.
so really, what does a day look like if you have multiple calls? Do you have multiple calls?
Sometimes.
Or and how has that changed too? Though, from we went from pre-pandemic
Hmm.
to pandemic to now being back out of the pandemic. So, like, how has that roller coaster been for you, and how has a day for you been like? Going through that journey.
So I with pre-pandemic, yes, you could get several calls in one day, and you're trying to work it around your day job.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
a super normal thing. You're popping in, you could get in a car. I've gotten into like 2 car accidents
Oh
in a
wow.
day, which is like, and literally the last one I got in, I just let the man hit the car because it wasn't that bad. And I'm just like, I'm trying to rush to get to
Wow.
the
Wow.
it's crazy, crazy, crazy. So this is when we were going in the room. Now things, post pandemic, now everything is you're doing everything self tape.
Okay.
So if you are doing a good job, and I guess you have the look of whatever they're looking for. I mean, you could get 5 auditions in 1 week. You could
Oh
get 7
wow.
auditions, and that's, oh my goodness, like when the industry shut down because of COVID and then it opened back up, it was
Hmm.
like flood came in of
Wow.
auditions.
Wow.
And so, yeah, technically it's a little easier because you get to, control it yourself
Mhm.
and make the time for it, but not really because a lot of these auditions they want the next day, and
Wow.
they ask you today, they want it the next day. So it's like you got to find a way to balance your time without going crazy, because the other thing is you're a human being, you want to live too. And
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
do you express these characters if you're not living
Living.
the world? You know what I mean?
Mm. That's great.
So it's not enough to just be in your box all day and doing these auditions. You got to get out and go have dinner, laugh, like be social, understand how people move, talk, think, da da da,
Hmm.
what we do as
Right.
actors. So it's finding that balance and really just, like I'm a huge faith believer. So God is like heavy in my life. I've got to have him because
Mm.
otherwise, like I would just lose it. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I have
Mm.
lost it 1,000 times, I think.
Now, hey, and I'm pretty sure because we don't see it. We don't. Again, that's why actually, all we see is the good. The glamour.
Hmm.
The finished product. We don't
Yeah.
see everything that you had to go through from start to finish. And it's something that you said that struck a light for me. Because I don't. A look like when you go on these calls, they have a certain look. And a
Hmm.
lot of times, that blows my mind because, like, to me, talent speaks for itself, right? And someone like yourself, we see the talent, seeing the talent,
Thank you.
but because of the look, though, is that was really, I don't want to say holding you back, but a lot of times it's predetermined for you then on which role that you can play or can accept or go after.
Yeah, a lot of times that's what it starts with,
Mm,
So there's an idea, the writer writes up an idea that they have for the character, and then, it goes to what they think that look will be. I mean, down to the point where like they will have a description. And so, looking for Black, Hispanic, now they call it BIPOC, so, people of
mm,
color.
mm-hmm,
Or specifically looking for Caucasian. So you might see it like in a breakdown. You might see it in a breakdown and you say, well, hey, I know it's just for Caucasian, but like I know that I can play this role. Like, can you
mm-hmm,
fight for me to get in the room to play this role? And it depends on how your team is, and I have an amazing team. So yeah, like they will fight for it. I get that this is your idea, but she can really do this, so let's see it a different way. And some casting directors will let you in, see it, they'll accept it a different way, and you may book the role. Like, so that happens sometimes too, but initially it's, yeah, the look. It's the look.
mm,
Yeah.
mm. Yeah,
Or
that
if
that's
they know you and they know that you can handle the work, then they might be willing to fight for the race to be different
the
or the look to be different. Yeah.
man. That's the politics. I tell you, like
That is the
the
politics.
politics. I'm going to leave it right there. Look, ladies and gentlemen, don't go away. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back with the amazing Morgan Alexandria.
Thank
The
you.
energy, the smile, the talent, love it. Make sure you go grab a cup of water, glass of water, whatever you're going to do. Come right back, and we'll be right back after the break.
Yep.
right, ladies and gentlemen, we're fresh out the break. As you can see, we are back with the amazing Morgan Alexandria, continuing today's real conversation. I mean, I love the energy. So Morgan, we talked about some of the things and challenges that you have, going through the process, the pandemic and things of that nature. But I want to ask too, going into some more of your projects, and going a little bit deeper when you finally nab a role, right? Like how do
Mhm.
you go about, preparing or building that character that you've landed? Like for example, like Ruby and
Mhm.
Sacrifice, like how did you go about building her character, for the show?
So for me, like one of the first things I do is I think about the physicality of the character. So how does she sit, walk? How does she hold herself? I mean, down to like her hand. How does she speak with her hand? Does she not? Um, is she, mild tempered, or is she very, extra and out there? So I come up with those ideas, and then the next thing I go to is like, what does she sound like? And so I add in that, I'm raspy naturally, but is her voice high? Is it a little monotone? Is it boring? Is it valley? Whatever. So I come up with that. And then from there, honestly, that's where the good writing like comes
Mm,
into play, because then you just have fun with the writing. So it's like once I have her physicality, her sound down, she's me a little bit, you
right,
know what I mean?
right.
Then I just go with what's on the paper and I have fun with it. So yeah.
That's what we call talent. That's just
Thank
talent
you.
right there. Everything that's just talent right there. I love
Thank
that.
you.
You know, and I feel like listening to you like today, like so your style of act, like you really believe in having a more of a physical presence, like
Hmm.
because I think that's what stands out. Like I'm listening to you, and like in my mind, I'm thinking about some of the roles and things that I've seen you because I don't want to say you're bigger than life, but your character uh
Yeah.
has this way of taking or filling up space
Hmm.
on the screen. And do you find that like really important? Like, is that really like your go-to style? Like you said, when you're developing most of your characters, that your starting point. And if so, like where did you learn that from? Was that like in a training, or is that just something innate in Morgan?
So, well, one, no, I don't always use that for every character, because some characters, their energy, I can tell just by the writing.
Mm,
I've decided from, and I'll read it over and over and over again. This is what gives me the physicality. This is what gives me the
got
idea of
you.
what I want to do with the voice. But once I make that decision, maybe this character is not as big. Maybe she doesn't need
Mm,
to fill the room. Forever My Girl was a character like that.
okay,
She was the friend that was there, for her friend, and a lot of her energy had to be pulled back to make space for this friend.
understood.
And so there, less is more. And so
Hmm.
then, so it just depends on the character for me, but there will always be a little piece of me in the character. And so, yes, I think naturally, like I am a bigger person. I don't know, but like, so when I get, when I get characters, like, so I will, if I'm able to go there with them, yes, that's
Mm.
in me. And so I think that comes out.
But it does. It does. Like I said,
Thank
I'm listening. I'm listening to you talking in my mind. I'm picturing, scenes, and it's like, yeah, she was. Yeah, she was like when you walked in, or you felt like that music playing, and here it comes.
you.
So I definitely dig it. I
Yeah.
get it. Um, Morgan, I also believe, and I don't know, a lot of people don't believe sometimes, I guess, in pursuing your passion, right? And I think a lot of us, we have certain things that we want to do. We don't know how about going about it, but listening to you, you had that passion. You had a teacher kind of strike a match for you, right? And
Yeah.
kind of set that, get you going.
Yeah.
And we can see now, thanks to her, I see joy. Yeah, it
Thank
brings you
you.
joy in what you're doing, right?
Yes, yes,
Uh,
yes.
but if you could, right, like just to say in hindsight, is
Hmm.
there something that maybe you would do differently now? Now that you know something about, oh man, if I'd have known this, then I would. Would you do something differently?
Do you mean like a different career or
W-
just in my?
Career in your life, whatever it is that you can you feel comfortable, you want to share with us.
Yeah. Um, in terms of my career, I think I was made for this. You know, I
Mm,
think that it's like you said, it's in me. I think for some people, it's like you see some singers sing but they just captivate you, and
mm-hmm,
they may not be Whitney Houston, but there's something that's just like captivating about them. You just know they have that
yeah,
thing about
mm-hmm,
them. So that's something I think is just in you. You either have it or you don't.
mm-hmm.
So I think I would have always gone this path and done this career, and I don't take anything back, because the journey, like I told you, is what gets you to the
Yes,
other side of things.
right.
Decides that you feel fulfilled. But I would say, in hindsight, I wish I would have tapped into other gifts as well
Mm,
on the journey.
mm,
So we don't have to put all our eggs in one
right.
basket. I
Yeah.
take Jamie Foxx for an example, which, blessings to
Bless.
him.
Yes.
Yes,
Mm,
he is one of my, like, I love him as an artist.
mm-hmm.
And I believe the passion first was like singing,
Yeah.
but
Agreed.
because he didn't just put all his eggs in that, he's like, hey, I'm funny too. And
Mm-hmm.
hey, I can act too. He ended up being one of the greatest actors of our time,
Yeah.
and still dropping albums and
Yep.
still doing comedy shows
Yep.
and still doing it all.
Yep. Yep.
So he's a prime example of, if I had to, like, hindsight, I'm like, dang, but I still got time.
Yeah. I was
So,
just saying though,
but
you
like,
still have time. That's
yes.
right. But
And that's
I.
for everybody else too. You still have time. It's not too late, but don't just, stick it all into one thing. It's like,
Mhm.
that parable where it's like you get one gift, make five,
That's
five
right.
gifts, make 10, that kind of
That's
thing.
right.
So, yeah.
And that's what it's all about right here. That I love that example. I love. I, and it's true. No matter how old you get, you can always expand. Like
Yeah.
this was my wife's idea. I never saw myself doing anything like this. My wife,
Wow.
we were going through the pandemic, and we used to meet on Thursday nights. We were dealing with George Floyd, Breonna, a whole group. She's like, you should do a podcast. I'm looking at
Hmm.
her like, woman, what are you talking about? Here we are. Here we are 3 years later, 5 seasons. We network, nice little network TV shows growing. So it's never too late. And from this, like you said, I've learned now, okay, well, I do like doing that. And it's giving me the opportunity. Something
Exactly.
that and that's what you have to do is never too late. I love the Jamie Foxx, example, and like I said, prayers and blessings,
Yeah.
to him and his family. But he is an amazing talent.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with you on that. Um, so as we come on the back end, Morgan,
Okay.
there's a little thing that we like to do,
Okay.
and we're gonna do some quick hitters, and this little fun stuff, just to continue to get to know a little bit more about you.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask first, and this is one of the first questions. Which one do you like? Do you
Okay.
like cheese pizza or stuffed pizza? Now I'm a New Yorker, so I know what I'm going with, but I'm curious to know about yourself.
Cheese for sure.
Oh, you got see that shit. You gotta have that New York slice. You gotta have that slice that sits in you.
Simple.
Yeah, it's real
Yeah.
simple.
Don't give me all that extra. That's the cheese slice.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, man, too much, man. This could be the cheese, man. We roll it up, back, put it in my plate. I'm good. All right, so we all have disagreements, and
Okay.
sometimes we have little falling outs, friends, family, and things of that nature. So curious to know, Morgan, for you, are
Mhm.
you the type of person that would rather apologize, or are you going to go ahead and sit there and say, "Dang it, I'm going to wait until you apologize to me"?
Ooh. I think I probably do both, but I think I apologize first most. I really
Mm,
do. And
okay.
that's why I get stank and do the other. Because I'm like, because I'm like, I'm always apologizing first. How about you apologize to me? So
I
yeah.
get this. Look, I'm not even gonna sit here. A lot of people who know me, I'm not apologizing. Uh, I'm. It's the New Yorker in me. It's the Taurus in me. No,
Okay.
I am not apologizing. You can wait for it. So
Oh
I'm not even
yeah.
going. I'm not.
I'm a
But that's
Gemini, so it's both.
so you got the twins. You got the
You
twins
see, I
fighting.
got both
Right?
sides.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
got both sides. I get it. I get it. So last question. Before we get out of here.
Okay.
Now you have, in my opinion, again being a
Mhm.
fan, you have a little bit of this already. But I'm always curious to know, which would you rather have at the end of the day? Would you
Okay.
rather be able to go ahead and win that lottery, or
Hmm.
would you go ahead and like to have your name on that Walk of Fame and get that fame?
You know what? I would rather win the lottery.
Look,
I would rather win the lottery because you know why? Like, okay, so I imagine growing up that I would be able to do what I'm doing and not be bothered. Like I
right.
could just make a, like just do great work as an artist and then like go off and live a regular life, like just have fun, be with my family, that kind of thing. And so, fingers crossed that continues to happen.
Right, right.
But but fame is like I mean, I don't know. I feel like people always say the root of all evil is money, but I kind of think it's fame because people would kill for fame because
Thank
it's
you.
kind of equivalent to power.
Yeah,
And
thank
for
you.
me, I don't need all of that. Just give me my money. Don't pay me no
Look
attention.
here,
Keep
go
my
ahead.
art and I'll
Mm-hmm.
go on about my business.
Yep.
That's me. But yeah.
Look, I agree with you. Look, just pay me. I don't,
Yeah. Just,
in my
just pay
regular
me
nine to
with your
five.
over.
Yes, I do okay in my regular 9 to 5. Look, I don't need the accolades. You're gonna put another zero, 1 and 0 behind that. Whatever you're gonna do, just put it
Yeah.
behind there. Damon is fine. I'll go
Yeah.
ahead, keep doing what I'm doing. Don't bother me. Leave me alone. So I get what you're saying, and I agree with you. I think sometimes when people, uh, you achieve a certain thing of fame, if you will. For
Mm-hmm.
some people, it's a power thing, and I try to tell people who know me, the friends who know me, like some, social media, you know, TV, whatever it is. Sometimes people get a false
Yeah.
perception, I guess, if you will. And
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you about my friends who know me, they will cuss me out in a heartbeat. They'll see some, bro, who are you lying to? So I
And you
mean,
need that.
you
You
do. You
need
have to
that.
keep yourself grounded, and that's why I
Right.
said, give me the
Yeah.
money. I
I'm the
don't need
same
the fame.
way.
I'm
That
what you
fame,
said.
I see it crash every time. But money, shoot, there's people with money we don't even know.
Thank
So
you.
I'm like,
Thank you.
I
I'm
don't want
with
to
you.
crash.
I'm with you on that. I'm so with you on that, Morgan. It has been a fantastic conversation. I'm
Same.
sorry it has to come to an end. But please, before you go,
Yes.
if you want to share, or if you could, share your social media.
Okay.
Is there a project that you want us to be on the lookout for? Please just take a moment. The floor is yours to share whatever you like.
Thank you. Okay, so you can follow me on She's Morgan. So that's SHES Morgan with two N's. So MORGANN. Follow me there. And then, yeah, my new project that I have coming out is I'm going to be on BMF. I can't really say
Okay.
what right now. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
But we're in there heavy. So, yeah,
All
watch
right.
season 3
Yeah, I
coming up.
can't look. And look, man, look, I can't wait because we
Thank
watch
you.
that heavy up in here. Big fan. My wife and I are big fans, big supporters. We
Nice.
appreciate all that you do, sis.
Thank
Continue
you.
success to you. Your energy is, like I said, it's infectious, and
Thank
your
you.
smile and everything. Keep doing what you do, ladies and gentlemen. Go out, make sure you follow Morgan Alexandria. Tune in, to all her work. Go see what
Thank
she's doing, man. We're proud to have her here. Morgan, anytime you want to come back, you're part of the family now. You're
Thank
more
you.
than welcome. More than welcome to come back. Looking forward to seeing more from you in the near future. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Another episode, Two Mics Up. You can follow Two Mics Up across social media at Two Mics Up. You can also catch us now, season 5. We are on Mogul TV Global Network, the #1 network and positive programming. So make sure you go check it out. I'm your man, Dame DNYDC. Like we always do at this time, ladies and gentlemen, may you stay safe, stay blessed. Mike's out.
Thank you.
007.